Yeah, hit the red button.
All right.
Now it's going. Okay, great.
Yeah, it's counting. Okay.
So now you're thinking, I'm into that roller, I've got it, but really, if you want to get into these tennis balls, the roller, there's nothing like a roller for your thighs, front, side, back, everything. But these tennis balls, they can do you, starting from the knee down, which is new for you to address the foot pain. Start with just one set of tennis balls. Eventually, you can do both at once, but I think it's going to be good for you to do one at a time so you can feel where these spots are in the two compartments on both sides of the shins. So as you work your way down, leaning to the outside, leaning to the inside, searching for these fascial areas of tightness and just breathing into them. Now, you want to work your way all the way down, and the more you put your chest on your thigh, the more you put your hips on your heels, the more weight there's going to be. So if it feels like too much, you can be up. Get yourself all the way down bit by bit till you're at the ankle, and when you're at the ankle, you can probably sit up and then work into the bones of the front of the foot, really wiggling and getting release all through the foot. After you've done that, then there's a third compartment, that's your calf. You're going to take your new little roller, put it back here, get in, and really start to release the calf bit by bit down the whole length of it. After you release the calf, then you can finish the job off by coming over to the wall. You can take both sets of balls over to the wall and work with releasing the bottom of the feet, just stepping in different ways, the arch, the heel, the ball, be on one ball, be on both balls, just find different ways to be here. End with placing the balls underneath the ball of the foot, dropping the heel to get a calf stretch. If you can release from the wall, you're also getting a nice core workout right there. And just hold that and do some breathing and let that calf release. So that was new for you. The other thing that was new was, wow, I can use these tennis balls all the way down my spine from my skull to my tailbone. You can start with two balls right in here. Because when there's two balls like this, it's very cool to get the edge of the skull. So you can just lay here and work with the edge of your skull. After you've done that plenty, you can get rid of that bottom set and start working your way down the neck. Like I'll control where the balls are, thumb and index finger, so I can go slow to the deepest curve of the neck. Here, 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 just really working in there, and see how it's settled right into the curve of the neck, still working. Then I interlace my fingers, bring them behind the head, and I can start working my way down to the base of the neck by pushing on my feet and going to the next spot. Pushing, next spot, pushing, next spot. Sometimes you have to kind of cheat and get them under there. But right here at the hump in the neck, spend some extra time. Now from here to the bottom of the rib cage can get kind of intense. So use some padding, bring your elbows in close, tuck your chin in, just, glide over it if it feels like, oh, that's too much. And use the roller in here some more. Really get this area to release slowly but surely. And at a certain point, maybe about here, you can put your head down and just lift your hips up. That's the other way to keep the pressure to a minimum, right? And then you can just start wiggling the hips and the knees to get the release that you want. You'll feel when you're at that last rib, and that tells you, oh, I'm starting to glide into the curve of the low back. See what you want to do there. See what's alive for you. You might want to draw a knee into the chest and work with that a little bit. You're going to go all the way down until you reach the lip of the sacrum. You'll feel it. It's like a little wall that you have to go over. And once you feel that, you can turn the balls 90 degrees. The bottom ball is on my tailbone. Top ball is on the upper sacrum. And here I go. Back and forth. As far over as you want. You can play games with your legs. You can get all the way over if you want. This is kind of your playground. See what you can find in those hips. And you're already doing some of that on the roller, but this is going to get in there a little bit deeper. Now these balls can also be used in place of the orange ball, especially two at once. You can use one, but I love the feel of two. So this is just like orange ball in the belly so we can get to the psoas. We got it from behind. Let's get it from the front. You just lay into them right underneath your rib cage. Oh, there they are. and you just work your way down. You're tighter on that right side, so let yourself lean into the right side. Maybe let that left knee drift up a little bit, and just get in and see what you can find to release all the way till you hit the pubic bone at the bottom, and then you know, okay, I'm done. After you've done that, you can come out, and we learned how to use them in the arms as well. So start with your hand, right? Really take care of these hands, and they'll be taking care of you. Back of the hand, front of the hand, then get into the wrist, carpal tunnel, both sides, all around. Use the other hand to apply more pressure if you're wanting it. And that's your best way of really getting in there. So these two bones really want some work. You can turn the palm up, turn the palm down. And when you're ready, just side sit and line things up so you can do the elbow. Back and forth. And then after the elbow, you can go to sleep. It's just like, can I put my head on my arm and start to do some movements with my wrist and fingers and forearm, but slowly let those balls work their way all the way up. And some of the time, I'm gonna be leaning back into them. So back and forth, leaning, going into the armpit. Ugh. Yep. It's like that. And then let yourself go all the way down the outside edge of the shoulder blade. You can take your time here. Sometimes I'm teaching this in class and I'm feeling like, you know what, let's just do this till 11:30. Because people just, you can see them go into some kind of zone with this work right in here. So that's, wow, there's so many things to do with those tennis balls, but that's it in a nutshell. So on the core work, all we did today was slow it down a little bit. Instead of counting, you might just go for time. Oh, I'm going to do this for a minute, or I'm going to do this for 2 minutes. So you're less worried about repetitions and more focused on, I'm going to do every movement with my active out breath. So I'm going to take a breath in, and then I can breathe in. Take your time, really, because so much is happening if you really focus on that out breath and slow the movement down. The bridging is the same exact thing. Just, it's the same exact move, except you have no support underneath your sacrum. So hold yourself up, make sure you're in a good line. It's not this. You're in a line up, crown, diaphragm, pelvic floor, all lined up, a little lifted through the hips. Same thing now. Exhaling. Exhaling. Notice my hips. If I exhale and this happens, I want to bring a little more focus to keeping those hips level. So that's your work with the bridging. And then with the planking, it's the same thing. We're just changing where the support is. But it's basically the same exercise. You're right here above the knee, and you're, instead of thinking about lifting the leg, use that active exhale to shift your weight. I'm shifting to the right side now. Just bring the left leg up a little bit so it can lift barely off the roller, but holding myself up there. I'm also aware that when I do that, I'm shifting the weight onto this right shoulder blade, and I want it to anchor onto the rib cage so that when I go over to the right, this doesn't happen. It's really anchored, the right shoulder blade, with that exhale on the rib cage. So if I want, I can make this about leaving the legs out and going, you know what? I'm just going to try and shift my weight over to this left shoulder blade. Here I go. Thinking, maybe I could even free up this right arm, but oh, that's so hard. There's no way I could do that on the right. You can kind of do it on the left, but not on the right. Doesn't mean I'm not working just as hard on this right side. So that's what we focused on today. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, baby.